A few months ago, I began doing retrospectives on one of my most loved franchises, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and then eventually I did the EA Skate series. Now, I'm dipping my toe into the non-skateboarding world for the very first time, starting a new series on the Burnout games, beginning with the OG. My name is OneHip, and thanks for clicking on this video. Whether you've watched any or all of my retrospectives, I appreciate you being here, and if you're new, welcome. Anyway, let's go. In the early 2000s, arcade races were everywhere, but Burnout stood out. Not for polish, but for how close it lets you drive to disaster. Fast, reckless, and at times unforgiving, Burnout laid the groundwork for one of the most thrilling racing franchises in gaming. But looking back now and playing the first game for the very first time, it's a bumpy ride. Criterion Games wasn't a typical studio. Founded in 1996 in the United Kingdom, they were best known for RenderWare, the 3D engine behind games like GTA 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. It was the go-to engine in the early to mid-2000s. Their first game was Trick Style on the Dreamcast, a hoverboard racer with style and speed, but not much staying power. Still, it gave Criterion a feel for momentum, physics, and flow. So instead of another futuristic racer, they built something grounded and dangerous. A street racer, where near misses weren't just exciting, but they were rewarded. Burnout released in 2001 on the PS2, and later on GameCube and Xbox. Published by Acclaim, it was raw, bold, and there weren't many games like it, and crashing was just part of the fun. From the moment I booted up Burnout, it felt different. You create a profile, and you can enable autosave, and you can choose 50 or 60 Hz. Naturally, I picked 60, and I'm glad I did. I played the PlayStation 2 version via emulation on my PC on PCSX2. Burnout doesn't waste time. Its core loop is simple. You race through traffic at insane speeds, and you fill your boost meter by driving dangerously. And with that comes with oncoming lanes, near misses, drifting, and tight corners. Boost has to be earned, and once the gauge is full, you slam R1 or RB, depending on your console, to activate it. The music fades, a heartbeat kicks in, and things speed up. Visually though, it's just a mild blur. Nothing too wild. You crash a lot. Sometimes from a massive hit, sometimes from just grazing a car. The game calculates your insurance damage, and it's hilarious. I once got charged $59,000 for a bonnet hit. You're rewarded with full replays of your run, a feature Gran Turismo helped pioneer, and it shows just how cinematic Burnout tried to be. Burnout has 4 modes: Championship, Single Race, Time Attack, and Special. Championship is the main one. Long checkpoint-based races across cities like Interstate, Harbour Town, and River City. Winning unlocks more tracks and events, including Face Off, a 1v1 where beating your rival unlocks their car. You also have credits, which act like continues, a very nice throwback to arcade machines. But if you don't make it to a checkpoint in time, you lose a credit and you start over. You choose between easy, medium, and hard cars, which affect speed and handling. I picked hard and I won my first 2 races, but the third one got really intense. If you're playing this in the modern era, I'd stick to easy. Handling is a lot smoother. One charming detail I noticed was when your turn signal blinks when you turn a corner. It's a very small touch, but it stuck with the series all the way to the latest game as of recording, Burnout Paradise Remastered. I also ran into some bugs. Not really game-breaking stuff, but quite annoying. Like finishing a race in first, but the game said third. That sucks when second place is sometimes a requirement, and you lose a credit and you have to do it all over again. If you crash too much, you don't make it to checkpoints in time and the race is over. Or you can get wiped by traffic flying through intersections, sometimes swerving into you. It's almost like the NPCs were fed up with illegal street racing. Eventually, I gave up on Championship mode. The pacing, the resets, it just wasn't fun anymore. If you've made it this far in, thanks so much for sticking around. I'm covering every Burnout console game in the series, so if you want more deep dives like this, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Now back to it. Burnout didn't have crash mode yet, but the DNA was already there. Crashes were dramatic, hilarious, costly, and players loved them. Criterion noticed this. People would replay them, share them, and lean into them. The spectacle became part of the identity. The game had a strong idea, but it just needed a sequel to go all in. Burnout is the awkward first step of a legendary series. It's clunky, it's frustrating, and some design choices I feel haven't aged well. But it's also ambitious and honest, and I appreciate games that show where a series came from. Burnout knew what it wanted to be, a racer where danger was the currency and speed was just the vehicle. Criterion and Acclaim would return for one more entry, Burnout 2: Point of Impact, and let's just say the rest is history. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have you played the original Burnout? What memories do you have of it? Let me know in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed this, and subscribe if you want more retrospectives. There are also memberships on the channel, and you can support me on Ko-fi. Links are in the description. My name is OneHip, and you have a good one. Bye!